Good evening, citizens of Portsmouth. Those who are joining us online, I want to thank you for being here at the Portsmouth City Council meeting for January 27th, 2026. Also, I want to acknowledge our city staff that is here with us, everyone who is seated out in the audience, and take a moment to recognize our city manager, Mr. Stephen Carter, also our interim city attorney, Mr. Derek Challenger, and our deputy city clerk who is with us tonight, Miss Anita Sherrod. Thank you all for being here, and I would ask that all my colleagues I'm getting out of order here. Want to thank my colleagues for being here. I'll now ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence, and it will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you once again. And now I will ask all of my colleagues to please note their attendance electronically.
7 members of council are present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have to approve the minutes of a called meeting on January 12th, 2026, a called meeting on January 13th, 2026, and a regular meeting on January 13th, 2026. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Move adoption.
Second.
Please vote electronically.
The minutes are adopted 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Could you please read the speaker rules at this time?
City council rules require a limit of up to 5 minutes to speak. As you approach the speaker's podium, you will notice a timer. At the beginning of your 5 minutes, you will see a green light. 4 minutes into your remarks, you will notice a yellow light. And at the end of 5 minutes, you will see a red light, hear a beep, and we ask that you conclude your comments at that time. While speakers have an opportunity to address council on matters of public concern, all comments should be made in a manner that respects the seriousness of the forum and should not be made in a belligerent, sarcastic, or demeaning fashion. All remarks shall be directed to the city council as a body rather than to any particular member of city council, staff, or the audience, and should be limited to matters that only the Portsmouth City Council can influence. A speaker who fails to observe this basic rule of decorum will be deemed out of order and not allowed to conclude her comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me here at the? Okay. I just want to make sure everyone can hear. Okay, very good. So our next item on our agenda is City Manager's Report, item 26-24. And Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance for this City Manager's Report?
An ordinance accepting respite care funding in the amount of $420 from the Virginia Department of Social Services and appropriating said amount in the FY 2026 Social Services Fund for direct supervision of children by respite care providers.
Thank you, ma'am. And we do have a registered speaker for this item, and that registered speaker is Ms. Donna Biggs. Ma'am, if you would come forward, state your name and address. You will have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Donna Biggs. I am the principal that is authorizing the elected to act on my behalf. I live in the Woodbine Farms neighborhood in Churchland. The City Council is the agent being authorized to act on my behalf as well as the residents' behalf to physically work to get projects done as ordained by the people. Also, as our agent, y'all are required to get the structure of our city in place, not only in reference to the city's departments as well as throughout the city's environment as a whole, which is supported by our Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 3, states that government is instituted for the common benefit, that government is or ought to be instituted for the common benefit, protection and security of the people, nation, or community, of all the various modes and forms of government that is best, which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety, and is most effectually secured against the dangers of maladministration, and whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community has a right, I don't know how to say that word, indubitable, inalienable, and indefensible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such a manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public welfare. And how do the residents of Portsmouth reform the organizational structure of the Social Service Department? 2626, is it 2626 or 2024?
It's 2624.
Got the wrong damn paperwork. So what am I going to do about that? My thing fell in the parking lot. So.
Thank you, ma'am. Council members, we are in need of a motion and a second.
Move adoption.
Any additional discussion? Seeing none, please vote electronically.
This item has been adopted 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next item, item 26-25. Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance we are considering for this item?
An ordinance accepting funding in the amount of $2,700 from the Virginia Department of Social Services and appropriating said amount in the FY 2026 Social Services Fund for the Family Partnership Meeting Incentive Program.
Thank you, ma'am. And we do have a registered speaker for this item, Ms. Donna Biggs. Ma'am, if you would come forward, state your name and address, you will have 5 minutes.
You've got the other copy. Okay. $2625 is an ordinance accepting funding for $2,700 for the Family Partnership Meeting. And a family partnership meeting is held when a child is being removed from his or her family. Child's placement change is being considered. Recommendations are made for a permanent plan, including reunification, termination of parental rights, or emancipation. So, at the homeless meeting, they did have a little handout, so that's in your chart. So there is a presentation made by a social worker on this topic of a family partnership meeting with the handout at the Homeless Commission meeting on last Thursday meeting. I want to see the budget item and the name of the people who will be getting the money. I would also like to know how many children have had to go through this process. So I'd like to know stuff, you know, what's going on in our city. I love children. I know today's world is different than when I was growing up, but still, I like to know things, and I don't know who to contact to get my information because I don't get it when I want it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council members, we are in need of a motion and a second.
Second.
Any additional discussion on this item? Seeing none, please vote electronically.
This item has been adopted 7-0.
Thank you. Next item, item 26-26. And Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance we are considering for this item?
An ordinance accepting kinship support funds in the amount of $750 from the Virginia Department of Social Services and appropriated said amount in the FY 2026 Social Services Fund to support kinship resource parents.
Thank you, ma'am. And we do have a registered speaker for this item, Ms. Donna Biggs. Ma'am, if you would come forward, State your name and address. You will have 5 minutes.
All right, I'm Donna Biggs, and I gave my presentation before. All right, 2026 is an ordinance accepting funding for $750 for the kinship resources for parents. There was no presentation made at a social worker, by a social worker on this topic on the last Thursday homeless meeting. I want to see the budget item and the name of the people who will be getting the money. I would also like to know the number of parents needing funding. And social service has a list of topics or divisions or something that I'd like to see on the organizational structure to see how communication is going from up there, from federal government to state to us. I'd like to know about all the money that's going on in this city.
Thank you, ma'am. Council members, we are in need of a motion and a second.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Seeing none, please vote electronically.
This item has been adopted 7-0.
Our next item, item 2627. And Madam Clerk, would you please read the resolution we are considering for this item?
A resolution to approve a cooperation agreement with the Economic Development Authority to furtherance of the public solicitation of developers for the Crawford Bay site.
Thank you, ma'am. And we do have 2 registered speakers for this item. The first speaker will be Ms. Donna Biggs. Ma'am, if you would come forward and state your name and address, you will have 5 minutes. And the second speaker will be Mr. Mark Godaldig-Yatrovsky.
Donna Biggs, I do live in the Woodbine Farms in Churchland. All right. How do the residents of Portsmouth reform the organizational structure of the Community and Economic Development Department? Look in the budget book. What are the divisions of the Community and Economic Development Department? There is Community Planning and Development Program Division. Who's in charge of this division? Where is it? The second division is Economic Development. This is in Town Bank. It has the Economic Development Authority and the Portsmouth Port and Industrial Commission under the control without anyone able to do any presentation on how he or she is going to be affected by the decisions being made without the people's knowledge or consent. There's Newport News Community Development Authority. This division is not noted on the organizational structure of the city. Then Permits and Inspection Division is separated under a vacant position of a deputy city manager. The Planning Division is also separated under a vacant position of a deputy city manager. This division has the Planning Commission, in which residents are able to give his or her knowledge and consent or not on any program submitted by a developer. On Monday night, January the 12th, there was a presentation given to City Council at a workshop for the City Council members to vote on giving property to the EDA. The property addresses are 2 Crawford Parkway, 2 Harbor Court, and 3 Harbor Court. This presentation was done without any meeting with the Historic Preservation Commission or any civic league in the downtown district. What is the place within the lack of structure is a historical materialism. Portsmouth has no classless society that fosters cooperation and solidarity. Rather than Portsmouth has competition within the capitalist type of governance in the city. Portsmouth has a social structure where there are divisions based on socioeconomic status, meaning no one has equal access to resources, opportunities, and or privileges. And if you see our organizational structure, it says we the people at the top. And so I was hoping that we the people could come together and get a committee of safety where all the budget items are, and committees where we the people can monitor the money that's being spent And so we have a voice. And I'm having a voice, I'm speaking, but it doesn't mean anything. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Council members, we're in need of, oh, Mark Goodall-Dubkowski is up next. I'm sorry. Sir, please state your name and address, and you will have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and other neighbors. So I have a question regarding this item. It seems as though for the development of a portion of our waterfront, you are taking the step of putting together a cooperation agreement between the City Council and the Economic Development Authority to do something that the Economic Development Authority could do under its own auspices. The Economic Development Authority meets and considers disposal of city property that has been deeded to it. Your resolution involves the possibility of deeding 3 parcels that the city owns to the Economic Development Authority. The Economic Development Authority has the representation of the city manager or one of his direct reports. The Economic Development Authority has a council liaison. The structure of this joint body involves having 2 members of council to serve with the Economic Development Authority in doing this work. And I'm just not seeing why you would need to deviate from standard operating procedure. So that's my reason for coming before you to raise that question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council members, we are in need of a motion and a second.
Move adoption.
Any additional discussion? Seeing none, please vote electronically.
This item has been adopted 7-0.
The next item, item 2628. And Madam Clerk, would you please read the resolution we are considering for this item?
A resolution to adopt the City of Portsmouth 2026 through 2030 strategic pillars.
Thank you, ma'am. We do have 2 speakers. First, Ms. Donna Biggs. Ma'am, if you would come forward, state your name and address. You will have 5 minutes. Following her will be Mr. Mark Goldaldig-Jatrovsky.
Donna Biggs, I live in the Woodbine Farms neighborhood in Churchland. (26-28) is about adopting 2026, 2030 strategic pillars on January the 13th without the people's knowledge or consent. I didn't go to the retreat, and I was wondering why y'all didn't have a bus to take us out there to Newport News so that we can be part of the decision-making process. I did get information from the city and also from the meeting today on information. That information. See, I'm all about structure and function, so communication goes, and so that we're all invited to participate in a way that meets our needs. And if you look at the homeless situation that's going on today, our needs aren't being met. I know y'all talking about all the wonderful things that's going on, but I'm on the grassroots. I care about my people. They have needs. And I'm going to see the best I can that call your attention to, hey, there's all this great stuff going on, but on the grassroots, our people are suffering in this city. And if you look at the poverty study, you will see who is and who isn't. So there's a theory of class conflict, okay? And I'm seeing a lot of conflict of today. And the leaders have become a capitalist class who owns the means of production and control the economy. We the people, see, people are not coming anymore. They're discouraged. Their needs aren't being met. So why should they come and speak and look like something? The leaders derives its wealth by exploiting the labor of the urban workers. And we're talking about urban workers today. The urban workers, the working class, who do not own the means of production and must sell their labor to the leaders in exchange for wages. The urban workers produce wealth, but the value they create is appropriated by the leaders in the form of profit. Capitalism is inherently exploitive. The leaders profit from the surplus value created by the urban workers. Surplus value is the difference between what urban workers are paid and the value of what the workers produce. Workers are paid less than the value of their labor, and the difference is taken by the capitalist as profit. Alienation. Urban workers in capitalist societies become alienated from the production of their labor, the process of work, and their fellow workers. This alienation occurs because workers have little control over the work process and are treated as mere commodities. So look at whatever you do. I think we need to have referendums. We had one for something, and I think we need to have more referendums for we the people who are not here have an opportunity to have a voice. I'm all about the people.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker is Mr. Mark Godaldig-Yatrovsky. Sir, if you would come forward, state your name and address. You will have 5 minutes.
Mayor, council, and other neighbors, just a disclaimer here. This was not choreographed. It's strictly circumstantial, but I've followed harder acts than that. So I have no quarrel with this particular item. I will say, by way of just a similarity that struck me, Islam is founded on 5 pillars, not these 5. They're rather different. I see this essentially as an organizing principle, a way of being able to explain to the public and any interested onlookers what our overall focus is going to be for the next however many years in terms of the 5 pillars. Get stuff done. However, that's a little too informal for my taste, but everybody's taste is different. I think that was just to raise some eyebrows. But if you look at it longitudinally, all 5 of these pillars are about getting stuff done. Financial operational excellence. This is something that Portsmouth has repeatedly been recognized for in terms of our budgeting and our follow-up audits. It's continuing a good pattern. I'm sorry, my device is being a little bit wonky, or maybe I am. Economic growth and citywide revitalization, safe, connected, and thriving community, and education, workforce, and partnerships for the future. These are all worthy goals. The sticking point is, as it has been for as long as I've lived in Portsmouth, it's about the money. The really hard reality of our situation in Portsmouth is finding enough of the money to make the visions come into reality. So we might need a sixth pillar. Show me the money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Thomas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. This isn't choreographed either, but the last point about show me the money, I think I wanted to make one comment for Mr. Carter, just a point for Pillar 2, financial and operational excellence. I did ask for the addition of the city auditor position, but I am noticing that we have some additional wording there about the reclassification of the city auditor position to the city manager's office. I didn't know that we came to a conclusion on that discussion point yet. So I would recommend, or I would like to see it just city auditor position, launch recruitment for that position, and we, as part of that discussion, determine where the org structure, my background being in governance, I think is very important that we talk about the importance of autonomy with an auditor and oversight and governance from that point. So I didn't want to have us stuck to that wording of reclassification to the city manager's office. I would like more discussion around it, but definitely appreciate the addition of that point. If my council colleagues will agree there. I don't think we came to a conclusion on where to classify the city auditor from our prior discussions.
As to my knowledge, we have not come to any conclusions about a city auditor. So I think the best course to take is to continue the discussion in our group discussions and see where we go from there. Of course, with the manager's guidance on that part as well. You have the floor, ma'am.
Yes, we discussed adding it. We added it for when we prior talked about the pillars. So I'm happy to see the bullet point in there. We just did not come to a conclusion about the org structure of the city auditor. So I just want to make that clear. I don't want to remove the bullet, just want to talk about those simple wording of complete reclassification. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, then we are in need of a motion and a second. Councilwoman Thomas, ma'am,
Sorry,
you have
just
the
for
floor.
point of clarity before we vote. So will that wording be updated, Mr. Carter? If my council colleagues, can I get a consensus that we can remove complete reclassification out of the wording, still vote on the, and vote as is for the rest of it, but with that removal of the wording? Is that how that works? Just want to make sure for clarity.
Mr. Carter, sir, you have the floor.
The council will determine what the wording will be. If your colleagues agree, then the wording will be changed. So it's not a me thing. It's a you guys thing.
Vice Mayor Moody, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I think we need additional discussion on it that I don't think we can do tonight. I think that's probably a public work session item on that particular item. I think a lot of us have expressed our opinions, but I don't think we came to any consensus.
We have not. So Councilman Dotson, you have the floor.
I'm in agreement also that the wording is difficult to deal with as it is and would love more discussion before it's finalized as it is.
Vice Mayor Moody, you have the floor.
I would suggest, and I'll certainly make that a motion, that we remove that item until we come to a consensus on the wording, and also on whether the position is even needed.
So it sounds like to me that based on the discussion, let me say what I'm going to say, then I'll give you the floor, ma'am. It sounds like to me, based on the discussion, that there is a recommendation to remove some language from this document, the adoption of this resolution. So if that particular language wants to be removed, and it is the consensus of council, then we can remove that language. Mr. Challenger will instruct us how we do that from a legal standpoint. So just let me finish, I'm going to get to you. So I think that's appropriate. If that is the position of council, we need to take a consensus on removing the language. And then once we take that consensus, Mr. Challenger will instruct us how to go forward. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
You got to bring the mic to you, sir.
Yes, that's correct.
So we have a recommendation on
Oh,
the.
sir, can I'm sorry, Mayor, I just want to make sure before we go to consensus
Okay.
that I'm clear on what the consensus I'm asking for is not to strike the entire language of the auditor. It's simply to strike the complete reclassification, not to remove the actual request of the auditor, because we did come to an agreement of that in our work session. So I do not want that entire position removed. I simply want the reclassification because that was not the intent of what I said during our work session when we agreed to add this bullet. So I just want to make sure that's clear, and I would be asking for a consensus to remove how we classify the auditor, not removing the request for the auditor. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So we will address the request that is on the floor as a consensus item. So do you want to state your consensus again that you're calling for so that we all are clear?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Okay.
I'm calling for a consensus to remove the wording complete reclassification of the city auditor to just city auditor position and launch recruitment for that position.
Okay, we have the consensus request on the table. All those in favor show by raising your hand. Okay, so we'll go with that. We have the consensus to move forward with not taking out the auditor position, but the classification that was identified in the consensus. Now, let us move forward. Let us move forward. Let us move, Mr. Challenger, are we okay moving forward with the vote here on this item?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So let us move forward now with, we have the motion and the second, we have the consensus on the language that will be changed. So we are voting, do we need to read the new item that we're going to be that we're going to be voting on the resolution? Please sum it up. Please sum it up.
Exactly what? This
Yes.
item has been adopted 7-0 with the modification to the,
Do you want me to say it now?
Yeah.
Okay, to remove complete reclassification, to change to city auditor position and launch recruitment for that
okay,
position.
thank you.
We all clear? Is everyone clear?
I give you.
Okay. Mr. Carter will get the language. We didn't vote on the item yet. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion on the item? Seeing none, please vote electronically.
This item has been adopted 7-0 with the modification to the wording.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for the discussion.
Members of council, we move to the new business section, item number 26-29, boards and commissions. Councilmember Hugel, do we have any boards and commission items?
Yes, we do, Mr. Vice Mayor. We have one item for boards and commissions tonight, and that is to appoint Attorney Stromberg from our city attorney's office to fill a position on the Southeastern Public Services Authority.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Are there any discussion on the item? Members of council will be voting electronically.
This item is adopted 6-0.
Next item, 26-30, items submitted by council members. Are there any items, council members? Oh, yeah. Okay. Madam Clerk, would you read the next agenda item?
Yes, sir. A resolution to amend the rules of order and procedure of the Portsmouth City Council and for the purpose of adding a city manager's report consent agenda and comment period.
And we have one speaker on this item, Mr. Mark Godaldik-Jutrovsky. If you would come forth, state your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Mr. Acting Mayor, council, and other neighbors. So you finally smoked me out of my YouTube den to attend in person a meeting of this august body. And I want to say in the strongest possible terms that I oppose a portion of what you are proposing herein. In your resolution to set up a consent agenda as a subset of your regular order of business, you've put in a provision that I think is a deal killer. It's a deal killer for me. And that is, when this agenda is approved, it will provide that anybody, any member of the public who has anything to say about any item of business encompassed within that consent agenda can address it before the vote is taken. But if there are several items in that consent agenda, the speaking time will remain at 5 minutes total for the person addressing them. You know in your hearts that that is nonsense. For me to make a well-reasoned argument on any item will take more than a few words. Maybe it's because I'm verbose. I'll own that. But still, I was taught in formal speech class that there are certain parts to a speech. And I'm not going to go through them. I'm not going to teach that class. but you all probably are familiar with what constitutes a speech. And when we're dealing with reason, and when we're dealing with persuasion, the person who is making an argument has a responsibility to lay out the reasons for why he or she or they believe you should do what he, she, or they are proposing. There is no way to properly treat multiple items in a consent agenda within a span of 5 minutes. It's hard enough to deal with one fairly complicated issue within that 5-minute time frame. So if you make this part of your council rules of order change, I will have to say that you will not have my support as a candidate for council in the future. Now, I don't have a lot of votes with me. I'm not a big persuader on one of the podcast platforms, but I do speak. People do hear me, and I will spread my view among them. And I will support candidates who oppose that change, because you are cutting the public out of the opportunity to voice a reasoned argument in front of you for what you may contemplate doing. Thank you very much.
Members of council, we're in need of a motion and a second. Oh, yes. Members of council, please raise your hand when you want to speak. I don't have the electronic board in front of me. So, Councilman Dotson, the floor is yours.
Yes, Mark, I wanted to speak to that, directly to that with you. We did have a debate on that, and it was of concern for us too. And I think that in the future, if you can come up with a solution, it would be, many of us would be receptive to discussing that. And we do have some other solutions. So if you don't mind staying after and having a minute with me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, members of council, we're in the need of a motion and a second.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this agenda item? Seeing none, council members will be voting electronically.
This item has been adopted 6-0.
Members of council, are there any other items? Councilman Tillage?
Yep. Thank you, Vice Mayor. First of all, I want to mention that tomorrow will be the first community engagement session for people to be able to come out and to help Portsmouth guide our direction on what the Portsmouth waterfront will look like. That will be at 6 o'clock at the Renaissance Hotel from 6 to 7:30. And the second opportunity will be February the 12th at Badui Golf Course from 6 p.m. to 7:30. And I want to encourage everybody to please come out, spread the word, so that people can get involved in what is going to be happening on our waterfront. We're in a time in Portsmouth where we have an opportunity to maximize the economic development growth here in the city. And this waterfront belongs to every citizen here in the city of Portsmouth. And we want everybody to have an input. And so please mark your calendars, because we do want the people to be involved. We want the people to have a say. And we want you to come and find out not just what's going to be happening, but we want you to provide your input so that we can move forward together. But we cannot do that if people do not show up to attend these sessions. So please mark down tomorrow the 28th from 6 o'clock to 7:30 at the Renaissance Hotel, and again on February the 12th at Badui from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tillage. Councilwoman Bryant, the floor is yours.
Would like to add to Councilman Tillage's point to join us for the meetings on the, Thank you. Want to add to Councilman Tillage's point about the meetings scheduled for tomorrow and February 12th, that there will be an online option also if you're unable to attend. Check the Portsmouth Economic Development website or the city website for the link where you will be able to share your input electronically if you cannot make it in person. Also want to congratulate our Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority on breaking ground on the Youth Build project on London Street, which is very exciting. It's expected to turn over pretty quickly, a single-family home on London Street, so we will certainly update you on that. And also want to thank our Parks and Recreation Department for hosting the Echoes of Joy event this last weekend. It was a very cold day, but that team worked very hard to provide resources to the community, so we appreciate their efforts. And finally, I want to say I'm very excited that we have approved our strategic pillars. We have worked very hard in 2025 to lay out that 5-year plan, and we hope that you will all follow us as we make moves in 2026 to progress on many of those goals. Thank you.
Any other members? Seeing none, our next agenda item is 26-31, report on pending items. City Manager.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The only item I have is you have the report backs that we provided to you earlier. Please take a look at that. If you have any questions about that, let us know. That's the only item I have for pending items, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Our next item is 26-32, and I would ask our city clerk to read the speaker's decorum.
Yes, sir. City Council rules require a limit of up to 5 minutes to speak. As you approach the speaker's podium, you will notice a timer. At the beginning of your 5 minutes, you will see a green light. 4 minutes into your remarks, you will notice a yellow light. At the end of 5 minutes, you will see a red light, hear a beep, and we ask that you conclude your comments at that time. While speakers have an opportunity to address council on matters of public concern, all comments should be made in a manner that respects the seriousness of the forum and should not be made in a belligerent, sarcastic, or demeaning fashion. All remarks shall be directed to the city council as a body rather than to any particular member of council, staff, or the audience, and should be limited to matters that only the Portsmouth City Council can influence. A speaker who fails to observe the basic rule of decorum will be deemed out of order and not allowed to conclude her comments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our first speaker is Patricia Bradford. Ms. Bradford, if you're here, please come forward. Please state your name, and you will have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Bradford, and I live at 1202 Ross Drive in Portsmouth. I've been a resident and a homeowner here now since 5 years ago during the pandemic. I moved here, and it was such a quiet street. I moved on, and first let me thank you for the senior services that you provide, helping us to get our garbage cans out, and helping us with taxes to kind of stay a little bit lower. Affordability, no, but it helps a lot. I'm here because Verizon has been antagonizing me on my property. I spoke with Vice Mayor Moody. My neighbor sent pictures and email to Mayor Glover. That was in September. But prior to that, Verizon came with heavy equipment, rolled up my lawn, went to my backyard, and I'm talking about the heavy digging equipment with the hydraulics. Sometimes I walk and I almost twist my ankle regularly trying to walk up my property. They have a big plate that they put back there looking like a gravestone. And they regularly came and they said, what are you doing? I asked them, why are you here in my yard digging like this? Oh, nobody asked you? And of course I was home. Anyway, they never rang the bell, never knocked on the door. They just came up with their equipment and they dug. They must have come back about 6, 7 more times dealing with that same area. September 18th is when I sent Vice Mayor Moody. I called and he happened to answer the phone that time because I had called a few times prior. And I sent him pictures of how they're digging up. Now, not just that plate. They go over to my neighbor's property, which is about from where that door is, all the way across my backyard, which is way about here. I got a big property. And they're digging and digging. Every time somebody wants Verizon now, they come in my backyard and dig all the way across in order to get to that plate. I call that harassment. Never have they come to my door still, and I've started running them off of my property. I tell them to put my dirt back and get off my property. And it's a shame that I have to tolerate this. And then they tell me it's going to be everybody from the cul-de-sac going around and on Lauren going that way. Everybody's going to come to that spot that they put in my yard without any permission from me. So Vice Mayor Moody said, I said, hey, I could twist my ankle trying to walk because there's pothole areas that when they dig up, they don't smooth out. They've never repaired my lawn. They just continue to come in. Right now, there's a wire wrapped around like an extension cord, and it's hanging on my neighbor's fence. And the wire is going, not underground, it's all the way just going across the yard. Somebody could run out there and hurt themselves, and they want to sue me as the property owner. And I'm asking for some resolution to this problem. Another thing I'd like to talk about today is a condition that we are living in this United States of America. I've worked in public service all my adult life. My parent, my father, his brothers, they were in World War II. My uncle, Korean War. My cousin, first cousin, came home in a body bag from Vietnam. I guess my time is up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. You can finish your thoughts.
I just want to
Just
say
make it
that
brief.
my son was over there and they fought the Houthis from stealing oil. And the ships being confiscated as people try to go through the straits with their materials. We got somebody here blowing up fishing boats. We got people kidnapping presidents.
Ms.
And I just want to say that at this time in the stage of my life, I'm hoping to hear more from my people. We got a new governor. We've seen what happened in Minnesota, and I hope that before you leave here, you will take a moment of silence for those Americans that have been extinguished in their own city.
Ms. Bradford,
and hope it doesn't
please-
come here.
Please finish your, okay, thank you.
Hope it doesn't come here.
Thank you for being here, and I will ask, yeah, if you could provide your address with Ms. Hogg to your left there, and we'll follow up on that. I think I shared with you a response, but quite frankly, I can't recall what that was. Okay, our next speaker is Jonathan Smallwood. Mr. Smallwood, if you're in the audience, please come forth. Our next speaker is Erwin Cody. Mr. Cody, please come forth and state your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for your service. I am Aaron Cody, and my address is 2908 Tambark Lane. Last year, I began my series of speeches about ranked choice voting. First, I stated a problem. No member of City Council was elected with a majority of the votes cast. A representative democracy functions better when the representatives represent the majority of those represented. If you do not agree non-majority representation is a problem, then you probably stopped listening to me immediately. If you continue to listen, you heard me explain how ranked choice voting functions like an instant runoff election, allowing the voters to decide if they want majority representation. Both runoff elections and elections using ranked choice voting are conducted in this country. There is nothing illegal or undemocratic about conducting elections using either approach. It is a matter of choice. I continued by presenting benefits of using ranked choice voting. They are increasing the likelihood of winning candidates having a demonstrated majority of voter support, limiting the impact of spoiler candidates, increasing the number of candidates who run for office because the impact of splitting the vote is also limited, leading to increased voter participation because voters have more choice, limiting negative campaigning because it is much harder to build a majority of support by being negative, which leads to an increased focus on the issues instead of negative campaigning. I then addressed criticisms of ranked choice voting. No votes are dumped, and ranked choice voting does not violate one person, one vote. Each vote is counted exactly one time, in each round of counting in the instant runoff. Voters elsewhere in this country have demonstrated they can handle the change. There is nothing inherently different about Portsmouth voters. We will not know how much the change will cost until the City Council consults with the local electoral board and the general registrar, as the law requires. And reporting official results still meets statutory requirements. A criticism I did not address before is forcing a voter to vote against one's conscience. Ranked choice voting does not force any voter to vote any number of preferences. It is the voter's choice. I then described 6 recent examples of elections using ranked choice voting. Using the method did not affect the outcome of 5 of these example elections. It did, however, result in the winning candidates being elected with, say it with me, demonstrated majority support. In the one example, when using ranked choice voting did affect the outcome, the instant runoff functioned exactly as designed, when 6 similar candidates ran for 2 seats in a party primary. Increased voter choice of candidates, which is a good thing, did not split the vote such that no one could receive a majority of the votes. The winning candidates were elected with a demonstrated majority of voter support. I finished my series of speeches summarizing the Virginia State Code, giving the City Council the authority to adopt ranked choice voting. If you agree non-majority representation is a problem, or a concern, or perhaps just another issue to be addressed in the context of all the other more important problems, concerns, and issues the residents and the city have to deal with, then I understand the lack of immediate response and urgent action to my speeches. However, even if adopting ranked choice voting is not a priority, this is a matter the City Council can influence. The City Council only has a little more than 5 years left to exercise its authority. That is still plenty of time for a non-urgent issue to be addressed and result in an ordinance put to a vote. Just because adopting ranked choice voting may not be an urgent issue does not mean steady progress cannot be made within the time available. I note that it coincides nicely with your 5-year plan. I would like to see adopting ranked choice voting added to Pillar 1. Let's get this done. It is also a choice to do nothing. I will be available after this meeting to answer questions and listen to comments. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Cody. Our next speaker is Keith Cutrell. Mr. Cutrell, if you're in the audience, come forth and state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
My name is Keith Cutrell. I reside in Virginia Beach at 2504 Little Lake Court. I'm here to tell you about a problem that we are having. My wife and I own the Chestnut Apartments, which consists of 8 identical fourplex buildings, very close to where we are right now. Each building has its own water meter. The normal water bill runs from $150 to $300 or so on each of those buildings. On June 12 last year, the city came out and installed a new water meter at one of the buildings, the building that has an address of 1725 Chestnut Street. In August, we received the first bill after that new meter was installed, and instead of it being a couple of $100s, the amount that we were billed for water was $7,623.78. Immediately, the people that work for me in my office started calling and saying, something's crazy here. Please look into this and see what needs to be fixed. September, we received another bill for additional water, $5,100.13. The calls continued. The response was still nil. We received a bill in October. Instead of $200 or so, it was $6,330.34. Either Monday or Tuesday of the week of October 20th, I went to the city water department and asked for Ms. Annette Stokes, who's a very nice lady who's the customer service manager. She came out and spoke with me briefly. When I told her that this had come about immediately after a new meter was installed, and we started getting these crazy bills, she said, I'm pretty sure I know what happened. My assistant will call you within 24 hours to get it fixed. 2 days later, on Thursday, September 23rd, I received a call from a gentleman who identified himself as the assistant, saying that Ms. Stokes had told him to call. I made the mistake of not getting his name. He told me there was a software glitch that caused the crazy billing, and that he would do what was necessary to fix the bill. Hallelujah! All would be well. I had already wasted $600 to have a leak detection company come and confirm that there were no leaks that were causing $6,000, $7,000 a month bills, but $600 was very small to be lost if the city was now going to come and fix the problem with these crazy bills. Unfortunately, in November, we received another bill, adding an additional $14,019.65 to our bill, bringing the total at that point to $33,171.95. And each month, we were receiving a correspondingly crazy bill from HRSD, since they base their billing on what the city tells them the water usage was, and also receiving phone calls and written notices from HRSD threatening to cut off the water at that building, leaving our tenants to do what? On December 4, I started writing letters to Mrs. Stokes so that what I was saying and asking to be done would be recorded. So I sent her a letter dated December 4, and as of that date, we owed $33,000 and some dollars to the water company, supposedly, and had bills from HRSD totaling over $50,000. My letter reminded her that she had said she would get the problem fixed immediately. But several months obviously had passed with no corrections and continued crazy bills. I mentioned to her in the letter that I believe that what the city was doing violates the Virginia Consumer Protection Act, which makes it illegal to send bills for erroneous amounts and ask people to pay. I got no response to my letter until December 17, 2 weeks later.
Mr. Cuttrell, if you would, give your information with Ms. Bernadette Hall directly to your left there.
All right, by the way,
And-
I want to commend you people on your patience. It's remarkable. I don't know what they pay you, but it is not enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get this taken care of for you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Leon Hammonds. Mr. Hammonds, if you're in the audience, please come forth, state your name, your address, and you will also have 5 minutes to speak.
Leon Hammonds, Bowie Court. Happy New Year. First time I've been here this year. All right, let's start out with my gift cards again. You got 451 gift cards still remaining, and they're only worth $20. $20 each. Somehow, the $500 ones have left, and I don't know how come people are going to fill out a whole lot of information from what I understand. A whole lot of information just to get $20. I mean, you know, the average person can't fill up the gas tank now. You know, gas dropped with $20. So I guess the last of the gift cards and the last time I'll be up here is when they're down to nothing. Because each month I'm going to be back and let you know how much it is. $20, it's a shame. From $100 gift cards. Now, each month you lose $2.50 for not using it. $2.50 now, from $100 down to $20 right now. And that's ridiculous. And I have another question too. I understand that the recycle bins, are we still using the recycle bins to recycle? I'm not sure. I understand all the trash go in one trash can now. If that's true, when's the public gonna find out? It shouldn't be found out by word of mouth, neighbor to neighbor, versus letting the citizens know what's going on. It's not no top secret. But the thing about it, putting out, sorting the recycles and all that, I mean, you got the trash cans there. Let the public know what's going on. You all be in your closed meetings and you do whatever you want to do. But the thing about it, let us know what's happening. So I appreciate that, and I'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hammonds. Have a good evening. Oh, we have Mr. Hammonds, we have a couple of council members that would like to speak. Councilwoman Thomas.
Thank you. And the question, thank you, Mr. Hammond. My question actually is for Mr. Carter, based on something you just said. When did we send notices out to our community about the transition to the one trash can? And I know we talked about it. I just wanted to, based on what Mr. Hammond just said, is that transition complete? Did we send notices out? Just wanted to be sure about that.
Yes.
We did. Okay. Thank you. So, Mr. Hammond, it sounds like maybe we sent notices out. Not sure, but yeah, the transition has happened for the, you don't have to separate your recycling anymore. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Manager, I would suggest probably be a good idea to have someone from Waste Management come to one of our public work sessions. I've had the same inquiries from people that they're not up to date on how technology has changed the recycling in our city, and be a good idea if we revisited that topic. And Councilman Tillage, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Mayor. And I will also add too, if we could provide the ways in which the information went out, because I think people receive things differently. And so if we can just make sure that we cover all avenues, because I've had quite a few people as well that have not been, they say they're not aware, and they're still putting out toucans. And if we can get that cleared up, I think that would be very good.
Okay, our next speaker is Mark Yatrowski. Mr. Yatrowski, I know you're in the audience, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
Acting Mayor, Council, and other neighbors. Unlike Elvis, I have not yet left the building. So, since you smoked me out, I thought maybe it was a buddy check because you hadn't seen my bright smiling face in many a moon, and that's because I've been availing myself of the excellent work that your AV people do, recording your public work sessions and council meetings. I'm not a fan of night driving, so once the clocks get set back, it's kind of an effort to get here and back home without doing damage to anybody or anything. However, the item I spoke on before seemed to be of sufficient import to bring me in person. There's another item that relates to my prefatory remarks, and that has to do with restoration of virtual participation by citizens in the proceedings of this council. Back in December, before the holidays, my little holiday greeting to you was to remind you that I still consider that an important amenity and want to see it brought back around. I received no feedback from anybody, I'm sad to say, to that written request. And so since I had to come anyway, I thought I would verbalize it once more, as I will do in one form or another until it becomes a reality. It does not seem to me that it's going to break the budget to do it, as you were doing it 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. So the infrastructure would appear to be here already, and it comes down to perhaps a personnel requirement, somebody to act as the interface between the citizens and the council, or some other procedural issue that needs to be resolved. Now, although I am retired, I did work in the business of information technology for over 30 years. If you need my help as a volunteer to facilitate this request, I'd be happy to donate some of my time to making it happen. But I'd prefer that my time be during the daytime. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yatrowski. Oh, we have a speaker. Councilwoman Thomas, you have the floor.
Yes, you know I normally don't talk this much during a meeting, but to Mr. Godowski's point, I would publicly say I do support that idea of some type of virtual meeting for some of our citizens that, to your point, are not able to come out in person or have trouble driving. And I think for us as a city council, we should consider that functionality. It might not be easy. I don't know how it's going to work, but I do think we should consider it. We do a lot via technology, and I think as we move forward and develop and show that we are a city moving to the future, we should introduce some type of technology feature to offer that participation virtually. So I'm for that, and hopefully we can add that to one of our agendas of my council members for that, where we can start the process. I'm not sure how smooth it worked during 5 years ago during COVID, but I think that is something with today's technology being even better that we should be able to incorporate, so I support that.
Our next speaker is Sergio Neal. Mr. Neal, if you're in the audience, please come forth and state your name, your address, and you too will have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of council. My name is Sergio Neal. I reside at 2101 Nashville Avenue here in the city of Portsmouth. I just wanted to provide an update. I sent an email to council earlier regarding a meeting with New Generation Mass Band and the Director of Bands from Virginia Union University. That meeting has changed to Friday at 6 p.m. at Neighborhood Facility Recreation Center. So if you all are interested in coming out to see what is offered, could be offered to our program participants, that would be great. The next thing I wanted to address is the public perception of the city. I'm quite sure all of you all are familiar with several of the social media groups that are geared towards Portsmouth and what happens in this city and citizen input. Over the last few days, several posts have been made in those groups regarding what is happening in this city. And you would think with all of these groups that are geared toward what happens in this city, the effort the city government makes or lack thereof, depending on who you're talking to, you would think these council chambers would be full wall to wall without a single extra person being able to get in here. Yet still you look in this audience behind me and you see some of the same people every time, every second and fourth Tuesday, addressing some of the same stuff. But I feel like it does a city disservice when we got a lot of people that sit at home and complain on social media, talk to each other, get on the phone or text and say, oh my God, look at what's happening now. But yet still those same people do absolutely nothing to bring a solution to the problems that they're complaining about. And quite frankly, I know some of you all might not say it, but I'm going to say it. What is the point of doing that? If you're presenting a problem but you don't provide a solution, what are you really trying to do? Because I can guarantee you some of those same people complaining are the same ones starting the problems. They're just trying to deflect it on somebody else. It really bothers me, right? Because, you know, I get it. Everybody has their frustrations. I have voiced my frustrations. But I've also presented solutions to the problems that I have brought forth. I've also gotten involved, and I can tell you right now, I have received $0 from the city of Portsmouth for doing anything I have done in this community. Nothing. I don't ask for it. I have a full-time job for that. I do what I do because I am concerned and invested in the city that I pay my taxes in, that I raise my kids in. I don't know, and I've seen this thing where, you know, people are really starting to get on the groups that are involved in efforts like Portsmouth United. But let me clear the air right now. Some of these groups have been doing work in Portsmouth for over 30 years without a single red cent from anybody, any any grant, nothing, and still will do it with or without any grant from Portsmouth United. I've seen people come before council and say, oh, well, you know, such and such got this, but we need to see how they misuse the funds, or whatever the case might be, but yet still, they don't provide the evidence. If you're going to accuse somebody of doing something wrong, have your facts straight and come with the real deal. Otherwise, please shut up. And I'm saying that I'm being so serious because it really bothers me when people have tried to approach me, oh, wait, did you see this? Did you see that? Da-da-da. Did you know this? Da-da. If you got it, then show it. If you're not doing nothing to resolve the problem, then why are you, like, what is the deal? And I'm saying this because it really aggravates me how the city gets thrown in such a negative light. And I get it. You know, the media has to get their ratings. True indeed. But I wish the media would tell the whole story, would really get the whole view. Because I can tell you right now, until some of those people complaining have actually got out there and tried to get involved with these kids committing crimes, have tried to help these parents, these single parents, get to the next level to be better parents for their kids, until they have done something, their words mean absolutely nothing. It's time to change the narrative in this city, and I'm talking about like right now.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Our last speaker of the evening is Sheila Joseph. Ms. Joseph, if you're in the audience, please come forth, state your name, your address, and you too will have 5 minutes to speak.
I would like to say Happy New Year's to everyone that's in here, because I have stopped coming for a while, not because I desire to, but I was made not to be able to come to anywhere unless I hitchhike a ride. I'll discuss that some other time. I'm here to talk about the information that's been approved for Fairville and other surrounding areas for to get drainage, pipes, sewage, water line, street, sidewalk, and I'm going to talk about my neighborhood, Fairville neighborhood. And under the H.R. 3684, Congress Scott and President Biden had put out, as everybody know, $1 trillion to rebuild America, not repair America. So I'm going to use for an example, I talked about one time, and whoever's interested, they go back and look. We had a company come out in our community, and they took the old pipe on Wall Street and Noble Street and inserted a lining and burnt it. And I came to the city hall and I told Congress and also before you all that I don't want to see that I did my homework, how they could take and burn this in, but it don't last as long. So I hope that y'all have enforced the fact to get the new pipes replaced instead of inlining existing pipes. That's one of the things I hope be in this project that y'all have in front of you that's been approved. Also, I wanted to talk about the incident for the HR 3684. They was talking about the infrastructure things that need to be done in the United States. And one of them, I have video and show different ones how old transformer. I brought the conversation up in one of the meetings, and Mr. Carter was given the task to get back on that. I haven't heard anybody discuss that about the transformer. I explained to him that it's old, burnt out, and the transformer one time shut everything in my home down. And I contact Dominion Energy to come and researched. They checked my meter because I have underground service. And they said it wasn't my meter, and they were going to go up at the pole. They found out it was a piece in there, connector inside, that was burnt. And I told them that under the information that I have from the president and Congress, saying that it's supposed to be rebuilt in the United States, not repair. And from that time, I haven't heard from them until I talked to someone recently, and they said they saw in there that they placed an order back March the 7th. And I document who told me and everything. And that is not happening because the person said it might be an old one. We done fixed the connector. Well, I have videos and pictures showing how they removing transformers, and they wasn't even bad looking like mine, and probably causing surge in my home when we have bad weather. I just wanted to say that they charging me, and they came and stole one of my meters. I have 2 separate meters, electric. I wanted to bring that to y'all attention because on many occasions I come home and Dominion sent some contractors trying to replace the put smart meters in, and I told them I didn't want it because in January I have a copy of the conversation left on my answer machine saying it's nothing wrong with your meter. So that's the reason why I didn't want to change it. And I can read that, but I can't deal with the new one. So I just wanted to share that and bring it to your attention.
You're out of time.
Thank
can
you.
finish your.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
I hope somebody get with me on that issue.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our agenda. Please be safe. This meeting is adjourned.